Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Looking forward to tomorrow. Talk to me, Brian. First of all, what was your reaction to that bloody Judas advert that we saw earlier today?
Yeah, do you know what? It had been sent in a couple of groups, but I hadn't watched it till you sent it to me, and you said, "Have you watched it?" And I was like, "This guy goes on for 20 years going, oh, they're picking on me. Oh, there's 20 years. They've got to stop hurting me." And then he does that. Talk about pour petrol on the fire. No coincidence. It's the day before an NLD as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
He goes on about he's got to let it rest. It's got to die down. It's 20 years ago. And then he does that. And just when I posted the bit where he said, it's just opinions, what do they matter? But then I hadn't seen the end of it where he goes about the washing, about mixing whites with red. Listen, it's banter, but that guy is an absolute buffoon. And he's just made sure that those songs are going to get chanted even louder tomorrow, haven't they?
Absolutely. And the Spurs fans are definitely not going to let him forget it tomorrow, that's for sure.
Right.
But in terms of the North London derby, talk to me about what this game means to you, because I think it means a lot to all of us.
Yeah, this is the one game every single year. It's the only game that I refuse to miss. I was engaged to a woman before Ilana. The engagement broke because she asked me to go to a family event or watch Spurs Arsenal. I went to Spurs Arsenal in Israel. I've lost the job because I tried to book holiday back home, and I said, if you don't give me the day off, I will call in sick. They didn't give me the day off. I called in and said, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Won't be in. I told you, Spurs Arsenal, lost my job. This game, unless it is life or death.
Did we win any of those games, Brian?
Well, the one with the in Israel was the final North London derby at Highbury. You know, when Martin Yeo and Arsene Wenger squared up and Robbie Keane scored.
2-2.
And the one I lost my job over, I can't actually remember the score. Oh no, yes I can. It was the one where Thierry Henry did that goal from where he was doing kick-ups and ran the half the pitch. The 3-1 or whatever it was. But this game, life or death, like I said, I was speaking to you earlier, Ben, when the fixture list day comes out, it's 9 a.m. your time, so it's 4 a.m. my time. The first thing Ilana says to me the next day is, what 2 days are we doing nothing? This game is everything to me. Everything. It's the one game you just don't lose. You just don't lose. It's either a very, very good day or the worst day ever, isn't it?
Exactly, because it's not even just about what happens on the pitch. It's, everyone, because the communities are so closely knit, right? You got family, friends, workplace, everything. It's just like, it means so much because of just everything involved. We hate them so much. They hate us so much. But then you got families intertwined with Arsenal and Spurs, and it's just so much bragging rights that goes into this game. So much talk, so much chatter, so much banter, and then it all comes to a head with 90 minutes of football, and then it all goes off and kicks off afterwards.
Mate, it's not just that. I'm sure you and Sim will agree, and people that are watching. The week building up to the NLD, just the tension in North London, going into, you could just feel something in the air. Going into work, the whole week is just absolute banter and just winding each other up. And then everyone gets so excited for it. And then on the day of the game, you're as nervous as anything until the ball kicks off. And then for 90 minutes, everything in life goes out the window. I mean, it is such an intense rivalry, isn't it? It's the one that I've grown up knowing that this is the one. I mean, obviously there's Chelsea, there's West Ham, there's been other big rivalries, but this one is just levels above anything. And I love North London Derby Day. I love it.
I think for me, there's too much tension in the air. I don't like, especially going to the Emirates when there's so many Arsenal fans just around you. I can't stand it, especially when they like take the lead or something. It's just one of the worst feelings. But in terms of the game tomorrow, Brian, is it a better time to face Arsenal or a better time to face Spurs?
Do you know what? It really is 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, isn't it, lads? It really, really is. I think it was you guys yesterday saying in a bit of the build-up where you're saying it's the team that can't defend against the team that can't score. And it's going to prove that way. It's going to prove that way. Everyone has got some injuries out. We've got a brand new keeper making his Premier League debut. in the biggest of the biggest. There's just so many elements in this and moving parts. I can't remember where there's been so many moving parts in a game like this. I really can't. I will say, Sim, as well, when you said about going to the Emirates, obviously you've been there a hell of a lot more times than me, and I know how you, or can you imagine how you feel. The only time I went was when I went with you guys last season with Ange Postecoglou, and it was 2-2, and the performance the lads put in that day was outstanding, was incredible. In fact, we should have gone with all 3 points. So if the lads can turn up and do that, and put in that level of performance, then I think we'll have them beat.
Yeah, and I think you might be right on that aspect. I think we got a good chance, as good as chance as ever, as going to the Emirates, especially with no Saka. In terms of lineup-wise, Brian, what key selections are you looking at going into this game?
I'm pretty much absolutely bang on with your predicted lineup. I was, when I was speaking to Ben on his way in, I said, do you know what, I'd probably have Kulusevski in the midfield. But then Ben was saying, do you know what, we need work rate, we need people putting in the hard graft and having the power to stand up to players. And I don't think Johnson can do that on the right compared to Kulusevski. So I think on this game, you need to have Kulusevski on the right and bring Madders in. But if my first choice midfielder is Bergvall. I think he is growing game by game. The only thing that concerns me with him on this game is obviously we know he's got a bit of the Dele Alli about him. He's got that bit of bite. And does the occasion get to him? And he puts in a couple of restless tackles, and the intensity and magnitude of this game gets the better of him. But I think he's coming on leaps and bounds, and I'd love to see him start tomorrow.
Well, if he's got the bit of a Dele Alli about him, then he's due to get a goal against Arsenal, because Dele Alli was, whenever we played Arsenal, he always turned up.
Do you know what, Ben? You've just brought another name in it. I put a tweet out, and I'll ask you two now, and I wonder what people in the chat say. I've done a bit of Spurs nostalgia and said, right, if you could bring back 3 players in their prime that always turned up for the NLD to go into this team tomorrow.
Yeah.
No one's even mentioned Dele. I went with Gaza, Kane, Van der Vaart. You have to have seen them play. So yeah. Dele Alli's another great shout. Who would you two have if you could bring in?
Bale always turned up for a North London derby.
Okay,
yeah, I think Van der Vaart and Kane have to be in there. Those two have to.
Yep.
So that leaves one more. So yeah, I think Bale's probably the best shout.
You know the other one that people have been saying, and it's a really good shout, Jermaine Genius.
Genius, yeah.
Well. Genius always, and I'm only talking about 3 that always turned up at this game. And Genius is a bloody great shout.
People in the comments saying Sonny, Toby Alderweireld.
Yeah, so you know what? Sonny always does well, don't he? There's so many, but the golden rule is you have to have seen him play. So there's some that are going back and saying Greaves, Perryman, and all, because obviously they've seen him. But, mate, if we could have those kind of players in this game, they'd walk right in now, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking at it like to say like an ultimate Arsenal killer 11. Let's have a bit of fun and go through that. I mean, in goal, probably the best goalkeeper against Arsenal. Who do you reckon that would have been that we've seen?
Mate, do you know what? I'm going to say one out of the blue now, and I don't know if a lot of people would agree with me, but this guy always had some of the best games ever against Arsenal.
Can I predict who you're about to say?
Yeah.
I think you're going to say Neil Sullivan.
That's exactly who I was going to say. Yeah. It was him, or do you know what? Gomez always turned up. Remember that one with the Champions League? Gomez. Sullivan was
Gomez
great.
in the Danny Rose game.
Yeah, mate, that's safe from Van Persie's free kick.
Yeah, incredible.
But yeah, mate, I think I'd have to go Neil Sullivan.
We'll go Neil Sullivan in goal. You got to go, I guess, Toby and Ledley at the back. Those two.
Mate, this team.
Did we?
Yeah, a few months ago.
Did we? Oh, mate, we did, didn't we?
You don't think I'm
Danny Rose.
If you don't think I'm putting Jan in that defence over Toby, then you're out your mind.
No, but I'm talking about against Arsenal. Toby scored 2 goals.
Toby got a couple of goals. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, who would go as your right back?
Walker, maybe.
Yeah, I think it has to be Cole.
Because he's had some good games since Arsenal.
Carl Walker, Danny Rose.
He scored a winner once. Remember that pile driver?
Yep, against Chesney.
Yeah, Danny Rose on his Premier League debut.
Mate, can you imagine? Mate, that's what. Can you imagine? We need. Could you imagine? Well, let's just hope Kinski can have a Premier League debut to remember. But the midfield, I think you've got to put Judas in.
Debut.
What?
It's his Premier League debut.
Mate,
Kinski,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Mate, I was saying with Ben earlier, can you name a goalkeeper, and not just Spurs, that have come in and their first 3 games have been a semi-final, an FA Cup game, and against the biggest rivals in the Premier League? What a sequence. I mean, if he can get a hat-trick...
Brian, he's the first goalkeeper for Spurs to keep a clean sheet in his first 2 games for 100 years.
Yeah, I actually heard you say that yesterday. Tamworth obviously is but still, that's what an incredible achievement for him.
Still, Liverpool he has to keep a clean sheet.
Damn right. But
in how many years has it been 3 in a row?
Yeah, probably never. Probably never.
Who's your midfield, Brian? Genus definitely gets in there. Van der Vaart has got to go in there.
Yeah, and I'm putting Gaza in there. There's not a time I'll never not put Gaza in the midfield.
Gaza, Judas, and Van der Vaart. That is a midfield as open as anything.
And then Bale and Kane. Bale, Kane, Sonny.
Bale, Kane, Sonny. All right, so that's the team.
Mate, can you imagine that team all in their prime together?
Yeah, that would be incredible. I mean, we'll be able to keep the ball, but I mean, I don't think that team would do too much defending. I guess Toby and King will be enough.
Mate, just that midfield. Jesus Christ, that midfield and then front line, that really would be you score 3, we score 4.
Yeah.
That midfield and forward line would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the game at Tottenham, we played a midfield of Decky and Maddison, and we were still able to keep them quiet with that midfield.
Yeah, I mean, they had no ambitions to go and attack that game.
I'm sure they had ambitions to go and attack. They just didn't.
Didn't seem like they tried to.
Look, I'm sure they came to try and win. I don't think they go into any game, Arsenal, just going for a draw. But,
well, yeah, the good thing is hopefully we can just kill their season off. Like you said, I mean, we have to get a win here. Like I think you two were saying yesterday, well, draws aren't good enough anymore.
Yeah.
As I personally, Sim, I'm with you when it comes to prediction. I think we will get a draw. But in all honesty, we need to get draws aren't acceptable, draws aren't going to get us out of where we are and climbing up that table anymore. We need, especially with the teams around us, we need to start getting the wins. And what better place to start than at the enemy? Yeah,
you do look at like the performances Arsenal are putting in at the moment, but you know it's not going to be like that tomorrow. As much as I'm saying I think Spurs are going to win, you know, whenever we just turn up there, they suddenly just turn in. Apart from maybe last year, they just turn into like this bloody prime Barcelona team and just start passing it around us like we're not even there.
Well, do you know what it is? I can't remember what stream it was I was watching yesterday, but there was an Arsenal fan on it, and they were saying last season they used to just come out and attack, and go for the jugular immediately, where now it's been a bit more disciplined or whatever. They said if they came out flying, they want to see them come out flying tomorrow and just go for the jugular again. Kind of like what we were doing in the last season of the Lane when games were over by half time. I hope they don't come out and do that. And we all know on this game, form, everything goes out the window. But what I just hope is going into this game, we play the match, not the occasion. Because, you know what I mean? How many times have we been to the Emirates since it's been built? And we've won twice there in the entire time, that Carabao Cup game and obviously the famous one with Kabul. And they've already won more at our new stadium, which has only been open for 5 years. And this happens at Chelsea, it happens at Liverpool, where the kind of the occasion and magnitude of the game seems to take hold of the players, where that's the fan side, isn't it, really? That's the, right, this is the big ones. These are the ones that the fans wait for. These are the ones they need to turn up for and forget what this means to the fans, and remember that they got to do the job on the pitch, because we do our job on the terraces. And let's just hope they play the game, not the occasion.
It's just been too long, man. I just can't believe the last win was that one under Conte when we won 3-0. You know, it's just been way too long. The form against Arsenal has been nothing short of embarrassing over the last 3 years. It needs to change.
It has, and if I remember correctly, until that 2-2 last season with Postecoglou, the performances at the Emirates in the league have been just unacceptable. I mean, that one with Conte, where we just lost 3-0 in the first, I think it's 3-1 in the end. but we just, or was that Nuno? Was that Nuno? I think it might have been Nuno.
You're talking about the one when Skip came on in the second half and actually was probably the best player on the park.
Yeah, I think that was Nuno, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Conte came in. Even under Conte, the performances at the Emirates, they haven't been good enough. They haven't been good enough. But I will say again, when we go to the Emirates, all I say is, listen, do you know what? Just put in a performance. Just give blood, sweat, and tears. And if the better team wins, then there's nothing, you have to accept it, because they ran their hearts out. They gave everything. And that's exactly what they did last season. That's exactly what they did last season. It was an absolutely magnificent performance. But previous ones have not lived up to that mark. So if they can put in a performance like last season, then I think everything will be okay. If not, then oh dear.
You know, I know you're predicting a draw for tomorrow, but if I said to you that you don't have to endure the 90 minutes tomorrow and you can have a draw right now, would you take it?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Joe, what? I don't think we can take a draw. I think it will, but I think no. I'd roll the dice. I'm going for it. I'm going to gamble. Roll the dice. Roll the dice and see where they fall.
Roll the dice as well.
You'd roll the dice.
I think we could win. Yeah.
So predict wins, guys. Come on, have that bit of mentality.
I don't think we will win.
Look, do you know what? Can you imagine? I would love. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to see it a complete replica of the Kabul game. Go 2-0 down. Everyone think, oh no, here we go. And then turn it around in the second half and win it late on. There, honestly, like I remember seeing people with the 4-4. One of my best mates is an Arsenal fan, and he actually left that game at 4-2 because he wanted to get his elderly dad home, so they wanted to miss the train or the traffic. And he called me at the station waiting for the queue to go down, going, ha, you're so crap, you're shit, blah, blah. I was like, what are you laughing at? He goes, 4-2, buddy. He goes, 4-2. And I was like, no, 4-4. He goes, and this was before smartphones and everything. And I said, go into a pub and check. He went and checked and said, don't speak to me for 2 days. So, mate, there's nothing better than clinching a late point or obviously 3 points away at that ground. And if I could roll the dice and have the result anyway, would I want a 3 or 4-0 walloping, or let them take the lead and win it at the death? Win it at the death all the time.
All right, well, let's see what happens tomorrow night. Brian's going for 2-2. I'm going for a 3-2 win. Sim is also going for 2-2 as well. But Brian, big up to you, and we'll